What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here. As you can see, I have this awesome tree in the background. I had my first place Tag Gohan deck that I won at the holiday ARG event, and it's the perfect deck for in time for the holidays for those who just like want to try something new, and especially something in the off season while we wait for OP. But it's a deck that I had a lot of fun with. I played in the New York event, New York Regional. And I didn't place too well because I didn't have much proper time to test as much as I want to, but I just loved Gohan, and now that he had new level 2, it's even better. So I'll just get right onto the deck profile, and I really love the mat. Like, great job for ARG for this mat. It's amazing. It feels nice. It's very sturdy, and it's cool with the border around it. And plus, the image is amazing. The art is incredible. So enough of that. So we have obviously the Gohan stack. We're using the new 2, 3, and 4. Reason being, with old 2, you just lose Gohan mirrors if you're playing old 2 because of Ox King. So, and of course, this one's better just because if you do level up, you just go back down to 1. So it has that versatility. If they don't want you to stay on 2 because the toolbox and stuff like that, they wouldn't get you off. Just to be able to go back down to 1. With old Gohan 2, if you go up, and you're playing, this 3, which is also really good, you're just kind of, I wouldn't say stuck there, but you don't have the toolbox and ability that you really want to benefit on too. Too. This level 3, of course, we play this one because the old one does 6, but this one also potentially does 6 without Ox King on the field. But even with Ox King on the field, just being able to clear boards. So if you ever, let's say, do want to go to 3, you can start clearing the boards with setups, drills, allies, or whatever the case may be. So it's really good, and it puts pressure. And then of course this 4, the old 4, even all your style attacks doing +3 life cards. If you have your Ox King out, it gets shut down by that. So this is stronger too, just in case you ever happen to go to 4 for some odd reason, and for some reason, you just get to that level. At least this one has a higher bracket, so you can push out some more damage or whatever. Not that it really matters, but this is the whole suite of the Gohan stack. Now we'll get on to the physical attacks that I'm running. So for physicals, we're running 3 Sobering Hammer. We play Sobering Hammer because it searches your floodgate cards, and it allows you to just have it's like a mini Lunar Ray that's costless, which is really good. So being able to in a pinch get Bulma, get Oolong, get Yajirobe, Krillin, get Oolong, Ox King, Baba, Icarus, stuff like that. It's just really versatile, and of course the hit effect. So I was playing Joshua Cruz round 3. He was using Resolute Goku, and I hit with my Sobering Hammer to get an ally, and of course, since a hit, he can't use the Unleash until the end of my next turn, something like that. But it also pinned me down too because I couldn't advance with my power. So you can also use this in multitude of ways. You can either use it to, of course, get the ally because it's immediate effect, but to be able to pin yourself down at a certain level, like level 1, and then just be able to spam allies and get them, and also hurt your opponent in the process. So for me to be able to get an ally, and because I was staying at 1, and also shut down my opponent's Unleash for a turn or so, helped a lot. So 3 Sobering Hammer, and of course just the search ability for it is great. Next up, let's put it like this so you guys can see. Yeah. Next up, we have 3 Blue Decapitation. So this card is just amazing because, again, the same multitude of reasons why I played a Sobering Hammer, same multitude of reasons I play the Decap, because I run allies with attacks. It's just another way for me to just drain myself down to 0, and being able to just unleash with all my ally powers and stuff like that. Also, just being able to reuse Blue Head Knock, Blue Betrayal, Arrest or whatever. So any cards like that would help in certain matchups, just to be able to have an additional copy, and just mainly also because it's just another way to drain me down to 0 and really just unload with my allies. So it's a card I can see going to 2 just because you need to have a target in a discard pile first, and people running banishment removal for post CRD Unleashed, or even now people still going to be running banishment removal. They can just remove your targets, and it wouldn't be dead, but if you need to get that extra head knock in there or something like that, it can hurt. But I mean, again, just to drain yourself down to 0 is just the biggest factor of why I want to play it. So 3 Decap. And we run 3 Blue Betrayal. This also, I bumped it up to 3. I initially had 2 in my original build, but the restored Gohan matchup is really hard. So just being able to have like access to this just to remove allies and then betrayal, sorry, decap to banish them and just remove some more allies is very helpful. And even if they Bulma and take your betrayal, I'm not sure if you. I'm pretty sure like if you can probably decap because it just copies it. So it's not copying the name. So to be able to, if you have another decap betrayal, you just probably can like decap it, banish it, and just banish it Bulma, and then keep using your betrayals and stuff against them. So just being able to just get rid of allies or any board presence is good unless you're playing tag. It's not like the greatest card because like for board removal, I mean I have Krillin for the drills. I have Yajirobe with slows down setups. It doesn't get rid of it, but it slows down enough for me to even just get the betrayal to like remove them. So it's just good more board removal that I currently have. And if I ever do go on 3, that's like extra board removal. So I'll just probably just keep it at 3 just because it's a good fail safe. You just never know. Especially if decks are playing like more tag decks are going to be playing Roshi, just to be able to have an answer to it would be very helpful because it's annoying to have Roshi kind of slow you down and shut you out completely. So to be able to have the access to Betrayal just really helps. And yeah, I guess you want to have more copies so you can see it more often. Uh, and then 3 blue head knock, pretty standard. Um, again, 5 life, 2 endurance, lower anger 0 just helps a lot in the against retribution decks, and again having decap to copy it and just use it again. So 3 of these pretty much standard. And 3 blue arrest. This card is not my favorite. It's good, just because of the immediate, but it's just like the output damage is kind of lame. Like 3 life cards is like nothing. But really just the endurance factor as well. This can easily be a 2 of, but I'll just have to find room to put like another card in replace of it. But I just like to have like the ability to just keep getting your allies again. So certain decks where they just very crit heavy, just to be able to keep on pace and just get the ally that they really want to get rid of is always helpful. And with Baba, you can see their hand, so if they can block it or not. But even just to rejuve is very helpful. It's all about staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. And then the only physical block I play is Crouch. Like, no, the only physical attacks you really do care about are physical attacks that do life stages. Like, you can just soak up because you have so many allies and so many ways to get allies. But like Crouch, like if I'm gonna play a physical block, it was between this or Blue Deterrence, the one that lowers anger. But anger decks, I never really had too much of a problem with them. But I figured if I'm gonna get beat down, at least I can have a card that can go back on top of my deck and just be able to utilize it again. Because if I ever have low stages, I can like Crouch, stack on top, and then Tien draw it back. I could probably play 2 of this just to be safe, but I play this one too just because of the endurance. But probably deterrence for just because lowering anger. But I just like the utility of this to be able to stack back on top of your deck. It's good. And that's it for the physical combat cards. Now for energy combat cards, 3 overpowering attacks. Self-explanatory. Just searchable allies are always good, especially like when you see their hand with Baba. Being able to like fetch Bulma. Bulma's just like so clutch. It's just amazing. So be able to just OP for Bulma just to see what they have is just amazing. Or to get like any extra ally just to have 5 stages. It's great. So 2 for 5 is powerful, especially with the 5 stages involved with it. It's just a no-brainer. Blue Terror, staple. Search anything. The 2 Lunar Ray. I think after the event, I definitely want to play 3 of this just because of the good ally recovery. The reason why I wasn't playing 3 was because I had like Sobering Hammers to get back allies, arrested for hits, discharge in some kind of way. It was just like I felt like at the time, like I would have so much ally recursion where I would never really have an ally in the discard pile. So, but this card's just too good not to play at 3, in my opinion. I definitely need to play 3, especially against decks where they want to crit like a certain ally away, and then you can just fetch the Lunar Ray just to get it right back. And if it hits, to have 10 free stages on top of that is just ridiculous. So definitely good just because ally recovery is very helpful right now. And for other energies, we play 2 Discharge. Again, the main problems with this deck specifically it might have was one with anger to some degree. Not as bad as I thought, but you just always want to be safe because you can't really just rely on head knocks and also crit damage. Like this deck has a hard time critting in the sense where I don't have any cards that just immediately just use a crit. So just to be able to have like a beefy attack that lowers anger and potentially deal crit damage is very helpful. And the hit effect is really good too. So when I was playing Mike McCutcheon top 8, he's using Adept Yamcha, and first turn I get my Krillin, and then he places drill that destroys an ally, and when he entered I got Ox King and rejuve some stuff, and I discharged and it hit, so I rejuvenated my Ox King to get back my Krillin, so that way when I play my Ox King again, I can just rejuve another 3, and then also with Krillin to keep blowing up his drills. So card has multiple uses, especially like if you have a Bulma and you have like a dead card attached to her, to be able just to rejuve her back. Even if you have no allies in discard pile, just to be able to just get her out again and save her for later for like a big turn is helpful. So I don't see myself playing 3 just because even though it's a good beefy attack, if you only have one ally and no allies in discard pile, you just lose an ally. You go -1, so you don't really want that. It's good to go with the -1 later in the game because you can reuse like the Ox King, the Bulma, and stuff like that later on, or whatever. So, and also against Restored Gohan round 5, which I lost to because Restored has like better ally stuff for some reason than Blue, which is weird. I had a Oolong out, and he had like Dragon Ball 5, and this dealt critical damage. So the hit effect happened first, so I hit effect rejuvenated my Oolong. I got an ally out, and then the crit I stole his ball to use that. So that was pretty cool. I still lost, but I fought hard to try and get back. I knew I was going to lose just because Restored, for some reason, just has Confident Burst, and it's just like something that Blue really needs. Then I played 3 Blue Draining Blast. Again, I just want to lower myself down to 0 and let my other allies just take control and just like do mad damage. It's a card that you definitely need to just play at 3. I feel at 3. Reason being is because, especially if you see their hand with Baba, and you have other attacks, if you just lead in with this and drain, you don't care if they block it because now they have the other allies that can take over, like Tien, Yamcha, Puar, which I also play. And of course, it puts them in a weird position where it's like, okay, I either take like 9 life cards of damage or whatever, or 8 or 9 life cards, or I block this and I have to take the other intermediate attacks. So it's just a good like power card that can just, and it's costless too. So you can just enter combat and just use it, and just for if you're like stage locked and just still check out 4 life cards of damage. Next I play Blue Clash. This card is just nutty. It's one of the reasons why I'm also playing this deck, because the unpreventable damage. So against Resolute decks, when they use their mastery, you just throw the Clash, so the force to block because damage can't be prevented. So I did that a couple of times, and it's just helpful in a pinch just to be able to get allies that you might need. When I was playing TJ, top 4, I played him in Swiss and I beat him, but in top 4, after having experience against his deck, in terms of like I know what he's kind of playing and stuff. I know he was playing Tug of War, so I had a Lunar Ray and a Blue Clash in my hand, and I figured I didn't want to discard either of those cards. I at least want to use one of them to get like at least some kind of value out of it. So I chucked a Blue Clash because he had a VTP on board, and I think also no, he didn't have Blue Diamonds, but he had a VTP or something like that. And I chucked a Blue Clash knowing that if I hit the tug and he banished an ally, I just get the ally back anyway. Or if I don't hit the tug, I just get a free ally. So it was just like a win-win for me. So it's just a good way to counter if people start playing Tug of War. It's just to just throw this and get the ally back that might get banished with Tug. So three Clash. And we also played 3 Blue Neck Beam. So another reason why I'm not really worried about stage lock decks is because like Neck Beam, I can discard with Gohan 2, I gain 4 stages, and I get to search for a physical block or whatever. So it's very helpful in that regard. And just being able to lower your opponent's MP1 level is huge. And being able to see it with Baba, so you can kind of like sequence it in a way where if you have one Neck Beam and they have an energy block, you can search for another one because you know that it's going to probably hit. So it just helps a lot, and to be able to stack it up with Narrow Escape and then draw it with Tien or something like that is helpful. So 3 Blue Neck Beam. This card's nutty. And one of the best energy attacks for Blue ever, Blue Blanket and Blast. I want to see more cards like this because Blue it's weird. Like it's a style where I never really feel um, it has one specific thing. I feel like it does a lot of things, and a lot of things either really well or like meh. This being one of them because like anger lowering wise, um, blue has some good amount of cards, but it's I still feel like you know it's in the rule book says the reverse side, whatever that means. But you know how red is really like anger, Stain is like kind of like almost like anti-meta because they have like a lot of good stuff like that. This card in particular is really good because of the utility to be able to stack on top, um, the endurance and everything. A lot of the attacks that I have that are really good don't have endurance, so to be able to have like a good attack that can stack, which is very helpful to like reuse time or to get back an ally or whatever you need in the situation, or even just attack itself is always helpful. And just be able to have some banish removal on hit. So this card was MVP. I think in the finals against Retribution 13, I overpowering attack for a Tien, blanket and blast, stack OP, Tien, draw the OP for Puar, and then did some other like crazy combos and stuff. So it's just really disgusting. You can just get so much value out of this card. And it costs 3, which is good because I want to try and drain my stages. So there goes. Next up, 3 Blue Retaliation. So another card that gains me stages if discarded from my hand. So another like mini like physical block or whatever. But the endurance is huge, and plus like the beefy attack. So that was another reason why. And the cost is high, which is good because it's cost 4. So again, I'm trying to drain my stages. Um, Again, pretty much a card where I was sold on it. I was like, 4 endurance is cute. I think I have like close to like 50 endurance in this deck. I think I was only like critted like once the entire tournament. Um, but just again, big beefy attacks. Uh, the endurance and the staging. So it's pretty much everything I kind of need in the card all in one. Other energy blocks. Sorry, my nose is a little cold here. 2 blue guard. Blue guard just because I can get some card advantage. Keep on par with Goku. So people don't know how it works. Just use blue guard with Gohan's power. You banish it. You search your life deck for style card, and then you draw a card. So to be able to have like an extra card in hand, it's between this or even like the energy attack that drains you down to 0, and your allies can't be critted. So I'm definitely going to try and put that in here for sure because it helps a lot in against like Restore Gohan matchup to be able to just like go down to 0 and unload with your allies and stuff. So I'll definitely try that in here. But I play 2 blue guard. And of course, 3 blue narrow escape. I mean, you can see how much energy attacks I have in this deck to be able to stack stuff with endurance on top or to be used like anything pretty much. Or if anything like the Terra goes in a discard pile because of damage, just be able to stack it on top or stack itself on top as well is helpful. So again, beefy endurance utility is always good. So pretty much no brainers. Best energy block that I think like blue has. And for events, one time staple. Don't know why. 3 confront just because you want to strip their hand and see and just make way for certain attacks. Just if you like want like a neck beam to hit or something like that. If you don't have Baba out, it's just good information. I do on my online build on Octagon. I do play spheres, but I couldn't get any just because I've been like I have like Vimless spheres. I'm trying to get the hero ones, but I couldn't get them in time. But 3 confront, but I'll probably be playing like 2 sphere or 2 confront and try and make room for that or something. But yeah, right now it's just 3 in replace of it. But you definitely need to play sphere in this deck because you can search it out with terror, especially if you see their hand with Baba. Being able to like they have time and then you go like Gohan for terror for sphere, and just like oh okay. So now for the ally package, playing the whole Gohan suite. I consider them all staples. If you're playing any Gohan ally deck, you need to have these in there. Maybe not Oxking as much depending on your build, but at least these 3 because Omni blocks basically, and this just to be able to rejuve and protect your allies. So he's pretty much staple. And then Ox King for me was just like MVP, just so good. Just being able to again shut down certain cards and like certain masters like the Blue Mastery. So I played against I think Resolute Krillin, which I also lost to, but just being able to make sure that the disc doesn't get in the crit range is cute. Also against Vegeta decks, it helps a lot in that matchup. so you don't really have to worry about that much. And anything like Goku's modifiers and stuff too. So it really just simplifies the game state and plays at a pace where your opponent has to kind of go towards, And then if they ever get rid of this, again, you can just bring it back, So it's too good. And sometimes your opponent will be like, okay, I kind of have to get rid of the Ox King, because that's normally like the right play in whatever certain situation. But I mean, I just usually get it back and just rejuve 3. For the attacking allies, play Tien, Yamcha, and Puar. Again, these allies are really helpful because it allows me just to get extra hand advantage and extend combats. Yamcha I really liked a lot because having to spin back, make my Ox King, and get it back out to rejuve 3 if I was ever down in life, or to shuffle my Bulma back in, get it out again, and reuse her effect. And just a utility, just board presence if there's like an annoying setup on the board or a drill, just have an extra way to just to get rid of it. And Puar just be able to copy like any ally attacks on my Icarus if I need to get extra life cards or Tien or Yamcha or anything like that. So, the attacking allies in here. And then for my floodgates, I run Yajirobe. Of course, being able to just enter aggressively. If they have like a VTP and just enter with Yajirobe, like or dominance or relaxation, just enter Yajirobe and just shut that down real quick. And it's just helpful in general because I don't play any setups, so it doesn't hurt me in the slightest. So same thing with Oolong. I play the one Oolong because I don't play Dragon Balls either. So again, to be able to shut down my opponent and slow them down, again, playing at a pace where you want your opponent to play. And that's what Gohan does, which is good. Krillin overperformed against orange decks, especially whether it be like anything with drills. He was helpful against the Trunks matchups. He was the first ally I get. Against Trunks, I got Krillin and ChiChi, and it just helped a lot just because it put him like on a clock just because they had to enter with whatever they had or else they lose a drill. And it was very helpful too against orange because if you're going against Retribution and you go first and get a drill, and then they pass whatever, and then you get your ally and stuff like that. It's just crazy because once you get your Krillin ally and they drop a drill, it's like it puts them in a weird spot because they either have to enter with a card down or just leave it and let their drill get blown up anyway. So Krillin like really puts on pressure and puts in the work. And again, I'm not running any drills, so it doesn't hurt me. So we play it. And Bulma, like enough said, like this card is just ridiculous. Being able to see the hand with Baba and being able just to get the cards to strip them out or even get one of your own cards to lock them out is just ridiculous. So like we play the one Bulma, obviously because we can only play one, and the one Baba MVP as well. Like all these allies are just like bonkers. It's just so good. Baba again, whole reason like just be able to see their hand and being able to get the opposite answer. So pretty much, you see their hand and you see, okay, they have a physical block, so you can chuck your physical attack to get an energy attack and just like really like disrupt their hand. And the best thing about Baba is that even though both players can see each other's hands, it still the player doesn't know like what's in your deck. Like you should know what's in your deck better than anyone else. So if they're really like focused on your hand, be like, okay, I know he's going to do this. I'm going to block this. I'm going to wait for this attack because I know he's going to throw this, whatever. Even though you could kind of play the chess mind games with your opponent, there's really no chess mind game based on like what's in your deck because that's your information that you can really just have to yourself. So if you know like, okay, my opponent doesn't know I play this card, so I see with Baba, I'm going to chuck this, get Gohan. With Gohan's power, get whatever card, and then just like kind of unload. So it just provides a lot of different avenues and just really makes the matchups a lot easier because then you know like what to take and what not to take. And while they're stuck with your hand, you can filter your hand because you have Gohan too. So Baba again was just clutch and key. And then the fact that all your allies gain endurance 1 helps because then you can just rejuvenate them and again put you out of crit range. So I think I have close. I'm trying to see how much endurance I have in this deck total. Like, I think it's close to like 50 or something like that. But it's really a huge amount plus the allies if I have Baba out. So it's like critting against this deck is like really hard to do. And just being able to not worry about your allies being critted away from an attack. So another reason why I really beefed up on a lot of the 3-ups with the endurance and stuff. So this is it for my deck profile. There's a lot of changes I still want to make. It's not completed in terms by any means. I didn't have access to Sinister Chokes. I got rid of my foil ones, so I have to try and look for those. But I would definitely play 3 Choke in here, again for the Gohan Restored matchup. Being able to, because I have Dragon Balls and allies, so being able to just chuck that and then try and change the tempo to your favor helps a lot. So definitely 3 Chokes. I'll try and find room in here. And I think that's about it. I think there's some other cards I was probably thinking, but I know Choke definitely came to mind. And I had a bunch of cards here too that I was thinking about playing that I might reconsider just looking over it. But just being able to crit was one of the biggest factors, and just trying to get rid of like especially like ball decks can really hurt. Even though like you shut them off with Oolong, like if you're not dealing the damage, they can just ball out, and you don't want that. So. Yeah, so the cards I was thinking about also playing, this would be an Earth Dragon Ball too. Just being able to level your opponent up if you need to, which is also can be helpful in certain situations like Krillin or whatever the case may be. But also to like level yourself up and then trigger your Gohan 2 to level yourself back down so you can get an ally. So this would have been Earth 2. And then Earth Dragon Ball 7, just because, be able to end combat, because I don't have any combat enders in here. So, going against Goku with his like 20 card hand, and just be able to kind of end that, or, just put yourself in a situation where, if you have a bad hand, you can just end combat. Blue Farewell, another way to just essentially like end combat, I guess, and be able to like kind of reuse an ally. So that's another card I was thinking about. Thinking about also playing Blue Knee. Simply because it was like the physical alternative to Blue Neck Beam. So if they have an energy block for the Neck Beam, like chances are like it would really have a physical block for the Blue Knee. And again, it's pretty much another avenue, because if you know your deck and okay, I have 1 Blue Knee in here left in my deck or whatever, they would expect a Neck Beam, but you know your deck better than anyone. So if you know what's in your deck, having access to the Blue Knee, like, oh crap, I didn't know you played Blue Knee. It's like, yeah. And another decap target as well. So might try and see if I really feel anger is a bad matchup. Another discharge, just because if I felt like, okay, I'm not really critting that much, or I'm not really low in anger that much, like it was just another reason to try and maybe play this. Blue Double Blast I really like, and I still want to try and put it in here as a 1-up just because it's 6, which is, not bad for 2, but lowers up your opponent's anger too, which is helpful. So it's just another way to lower anger. So I just really like this card for some reason. One of those. The 3rd Lunar Ray, I have to definitely find room for this. 1 blue energy shield, so I probably might take out the blue guards and then replace them with like one of these, and like probably like another Lunar Ray or something like that. But a defensive way to set yourself down to 0 and unleash on your allies, especially in the Restored Gohan matchup, which is definitely hard to really beat. So just to have that avenue. So you have like an aggressive way to lower yourself down to 0, and now you have like a defensive way to lower yourself down to 0. 2 blue slide, another card I was thinking about in here, just because again with Gohan's 2, you have like the toolboxing ability for anything. So if you need to lower anger, you get the head knock. If you need to drain stages, you have the draining blast. If you want to have this card because your opponent's playing like Vegeta, or you see their hand, it's a bunch of non-style cards, you just chuck this. It also has banishment removal. So it's another avenue just to shut down against certain decks and to really help you in that regard. So definitely want to try and find room in here too, because again, it's another decap target as well. So there's some probably adjustments that can be made here and there. But again, Vegeta, he's not really that much of a problem, because you have Ox King, which just helps a lot in the matchup, and Piccolo. So those 2 cards alone just really kind of just almost seal the deal. Only thing you just have to watch out for is Galagun, which you can just block with Piccolo. Final Flash is not going to crit, and Sinister Choke. That's the only things you really have to watch out for, is really the Galagun and Sinister Choke. And of course, if you like level hops and stuff, but that's why these will definitely come in handy to really just like blow out that matchup. And 2 blue slide, because you have like Baba to, if you take damage and you have to banish an ally for endurance to rejuvenate it and slide. or even Discharge, just get the ally back for free, which is helpful. So, if I play the slide, sorry, if I play the Discharge, the slide will help a lot to complement it, even if I just have one ally, because I can just get it back out. So it just helps in that regard. And again, also another decap target. So these are all things I was really thinking about. So I might try it out again. I just have to try and find room. But these are cards I was thinking about. And two Blue Arm Blast. So even though these ones I can't play anymore, I still love them. But these Blue Arm Blast in general, just because it was another physical block, but it was also an attack. So adding to the utility factor of Gohan, just because you're searching out an attack or a block. But again, with physicals, like I never really felt threatened by them, simply because you just block the physicals that you need to block, and you have ChiChi, so I'm already always having a physical block, so I don't really care about, the others, and again, since you want to train yourself down. And I felt if I'm using it as an attack, like I'd rather have an attack that actually does more than just like 5 life cards. I felt it was kind of very vanilla. If anything, I'd rather just up my physical block count or something like that. But it's another card I was definitely considering playing. So, again, all room for improvement. It's definitely not the finalized build because I definitely want to add chokes in here and the spheres when I get them. But it's a good starting point for all those out there who are trying out Tag Gohan. There's a lot of different ways to go about doing it. So that's pretty much my first place Tag Gohan deck. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I had a ton of fun playing it. I still will definitely play it in future. It's a bit of a blast to play, and hopefully I can attend more events and just see where it goes from there. So that's pretty much it. So I'll hope you guys have a very good holiday and enjoy the deck profile. So until next time, Mr. Waffles out.